So we're at the oh, so Tanya's already up. Off she goes on her horse. They've now been doing this for a few years. At first they were a little bit afraid of the horses. Now they're fine. He loves it. And off they go. My wife with her multiple sclerosis is also getting hippotherapy, so we'll see her getting on her hippo in a second. What's your horse's name? Dobry. Jak się nazywa twój koń?
Timek.
Timek? Okay. That's a nice pony. You're a nice chap, aren't you? You look very nice. Hi. On się martwi, że ja nie będę chciał wejść na niego, ale ja jestem miłośnikiem zwierząt, więc ja nie siadam na konie.
On to jest silny, to... Nie będzie ciepło.
A ty tak bez siodła będziesz? O, tak jak tatarka. Siedzisz równo? Pierwszy raz ciebie widzę na koniu. A to dobrze siedzi ten kask? Z tymi twoimi słuchawkami i tak dalej?
No, specjalnie większy, żeby...
Off they go. Why it is that horses have such a healing effect on people, I don't know, but they do, apparently. Autism, multiple sclerosis, lots of other people with conditions who use this service. It's available to people who have various forms of disability. And my wife usually feels better after she's spent half an hour on a horse. The sort of rhythm of it sort of sorts her out a little bit. I don't know, maybe that gives her something I can't give her. I just have no idea. But anyway, it's nice. Bit of green space in between all of these flats. It must be quite nice for the people out in the flats to see horses trotting about in the mornings as well. Here's George and Tanya coming round on theirs. Oh, and they seem to be going into the shed area. I suppose in the shed area it's a bit of a softer underfoot, so they can do bits and pieces in there. I don't think my wife's going to be doing any of that show jumping anytime soon over the barriers, but some people are. Of course, my wife was fine on a horse in the olden days before she got MS. Let's pop in here and see what we can see. Tak? Okay. Fantastic. Let's pop outside again and see. Tanya's speaking a bit more. She said Czerwony, which means red. I'll just see how my wife's getting on with her bit. She's over there doing the long walk round. Behind that small hillock that they put in the way there. Plenty of bird life out in this part. We're in the northeast area of Warsaw. It's called Brudno, which sounds like it means dirty, but is actually written with an O and a sort of like accent on the O rather than an open U, which is a normal U. So basically, it means something to do with a ford rather than being dirty, although it sounds the same. Polish has quite a lot of homonyms, but if you understand Russian, if you know Russian, then you know pretty much which word is spelt which way, and usually they're spelt in different ways. Other than that, you don't get that many. You don't get that many homophones in Russian, in Polish. But the ones that you do, or the few that you do, basically, as usual, they're down to diglossia, and the way that things sometimes merge after sound shifts, regular sound shifts, and the marks in Polish, the additional letters and marks are usually to do with things which, sounds which are Slavonic, pre-Latin, but also there's sounds which you can't really. There's things. There's marks used just to distinguish homophones, or words which would sound the same but mean different things. If anybody wants to know more about homophones, then look up Peter Ponczek, spelled Paczek. He does a number. I think he does 2 or 3 films about. Actually, I don't think I ever did the 3rd one. I planned it, but then I never really got time to do it. To do the good old lecture about homophones in English. He does it in a Polish Geordie style. Okay. So where exactly? Oh, there she is, going back the same way. I thought she was going to do like a round, but she's gone there and now she's coming back. You can't do an awful lot in half an hour, that's already half the time gone. That one's not doing anything at the moment, he's conserving his energy for later. They can stand on their little dainty little feet without seeming to tire for hours and hours on end. I think they probably even sleep on them. It's a little bit like us being able to sleep sitting up, which not everybody can, but I certainly can. It's one of the reasons why well, one of the reasons, not the most important reason, but a supplementary reason why I don't like driving so much these days. You only have to sleep once in a car while you're driving it. That could be the most refreshing sleep that you've ever had. You wake up completely refreshed. One might say resurrected. So here she comes. Oh, here she comes. Yes. Yes, they're in the hall, yeah. Okay. I think you're getting the general. Oh, look, now it's running. Little bit of running there. I think she told me last week that she'd done a bit of like trotting or whatever. Not exactly cantering, but trotting. I think if I come back in a year or so, then she'll already be galloping. Take it slowly though, and jumping and all that stuff. And she's actually doing it with no saddle, as you saw earlier. It's interesting. There's a joke about this Norse god riding horseback through the fields and going, "I'm Thor, I'm Thor," and up pops Odin and says, "We use the saddle, filly." So Just thought I'd throw that one in for your amusement and yours. Right, bit of the old Warsaw architecture there, very typical. For this part of Warsaw anyway, in certain other parts as well, you've got whole neighbourhoods which are, you know, very intensely, shall we say, occupied with people. Not that those flats are bad, I mean these are all quite new ones, and inside a lot of them are very spacious, well made, you know, just they're all packed in together quite a bit. Oh dear, George appears to have come to an end of his programme. Oh no, it's not George, somebody else. It's just dressed the same and acting the same. Right, I'll turn this off then, I might as well, there's not an awful lot happening. Try to wait for her to come round. I was going to say bird life, yeah. You can hear in the background, hopefully the whole time, these rooks jabbering onto each other. But as well you can hear sometimes a bit of the seagulls crying in the sky. That's kind of typical of Warsaw at this time of year. You've got the rooks and the seagulls, the rooks fly in from Russia because they don't like, it's a bit too cold in Russia, you can't forage under the snow so much. And the seagulls fly in whenever it's bad weather from the Baltic coast. And sometimes, you know, various types of crow and rooks and the seagulls, they come into a little bit of conflict over Warsaw. Seagulls come in and go away again, you know, when it's good weather they go back to the seaside. The rooks just basically stay all winter. When it's deep snow and there's not an awful lot to find, then they're a little bit hungrier. But other than that, in days like this they can easily eat all they like. But they're the two main birds that you'll see. If you go north of Warsaw to where this big reservoir is in between Płock and Inowrocław, you will see at this time of year the coots that have come. Coots all fly in from Russia where they spend summer, and they fly into Europe to be a little bit warmer in the winter, and it's this place where it seems to be their main overwintering ground, and they just sit there in a long line, about 4 or 5 birds deep and about 50 kilometres long, or 30, this huge ribbon. Here they are. So, już? Okay, so I'll turn it off now then, although it might be interesting to see you getting off the horse, hopefully safely. We took a taxi. Here's a taxi driver that always looks after my family on Saturdays. Friendly guy, he does it for a flat fee. If you want to support this venture, by the way, this is the name of it. Oh, they're going to take her right up to the taxi to get off. It's Hej Koniku, like that, yeah? That's the name of the foundation. You can find, I'll probably put down below the bank account number and the KRS number if you want to have 1% of tax. Use your 1% of tax if you're paying Polish tax for this. I'd be very grateful. If you don't know what to give it to, if you have something you like normally giving it to, then fine. But if you don't have any particular fixed ideas on it, then this might be a nice thing. Myślałem, że tutaj zejdziesz. A, tutaj zejdziesz, tak? Blisko taksówki, to dobry pomysł. Here we go. Ale nie upadnij. That's the idea. Well done. You're a good chap, aren't you? You're a good chap. Thank you for that. Well, you're welcome, he says.
Chyba całkiem się zgubił, bo coś nie obraził.
Już nie. Może te prognozy prawdziwe.
Okej, ty tu już siedzisz, tak? Ja pójdę po George'a i Tanię.
Nie trzyma.
A ich tu się prowadzą.
Tak? Okej. Czyli możemy już usiąść w sumie.
Tak, możemy już usiąść zaraz.
To ja wesołych
Dziękuję.
świąt.
Wesołych
życzę.
świąt, dziękuję bardzo, dziękuję.
Pani Kasiu, do zobaczenia.
Dziękuję.
Dziękuję.
Pani będzie dzwonić i pani Marta.
So I'm going to give my 1% anyway to these guys, and if you are, I'll put it in Polish as well, how you go about giving 1%, or I'll put the bank account number if you just want to give to this venture. If you're not in a paying Polish tax, in order to get a tax-free gift, or basically it won't cost you anything. You just put it on the tax. If you're Polish, just put it on the tax return, the name of this and its KRS number, and 1% of your tax goes to this. Then, after a certain period of waiting for the administration of that system, and if you're not Polish taxpayer, but you just want to help all of these people who get some benefit from these horses, then I put the bank account down the bottom as well. So there we are. You can do that. And thanks on their behalf, and on our behalf, because we get a lot of benefit from this. If you do, here comes George. With his hat pulled down over his eyes again like Biffa Bacon. Happy? There you go. And Tanya. Fine.
Mamy tylko jedną rękawiczkę, druga gdzieś się zapodziała. W sensie nie było jej w kieszeni.
Yeah?
Więc albo wypadła gdzieś tu po drodze, albo w samochodzie.
O, okej. Dobrze, dziękuję.
Więc jak żeśmy ruszyli, to już...
Okej.